तथो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 11, Lord Krishna's entrance in Dwaraka, text number 11. Madhu Bhoja Dasharaha Araha Madhu Bhoja Dasharaha Kukura Andhaka Vrishnibihi Kukura Andhaka Vrishnibihi Atmatulya Balaihi Guptam Atmatulya Baler Guptam Nagaihi Bhogavatim Iva Nager Bhogavatim Iva Madhu Bhoja Dashararaha Kukurandhaka Vrishnibihi Atmatulya Baler Guptam Nager Bhogavatim Iva Madhu Bhoja Dashararha Kukurandhaka Vrishnibihi Atmatulya Baler Guptam Nager Bhogavatim Iva Madhu Bhoja Dashararha Kukurandhaka Vrishnibihi Atmatulya Baler Guptam Nager Bhogavatim Iva Madhu Bhoja Dashararaha Kukurandhaka Vrishnibihi Atmatulya Baler Guptam Nager Bhogavatim Iva Madhu Bhoja Dashararaha Kukurandhaka Vrishnibihi Atmatulya Baler Guptam Nager Bhogavatim Iva Madhur Bhoja Dashararaha Kukurandhaka Vrishnibihi Atmatulya Baler Guptam Nager Bhogavatim Iva Madhur Bhoja Dashararaha Kukurandhaka Vrishnibihi Atmatulyam Balvadutam Nager Bhogavatim Iva Madhu Madhu Bhoja Bhoja Dasharaha Dasharaha Araha Araha Kukura Kukura Andhaka Andhaka Vrishnibihi by the descendants of Vrishni Atmatulya as good as himself Balaihi by strength Guptam protected Nagaihi by the Nagas Bhogavatim the capital of Nagaloka Iva like Translation prepared by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. As Bhogavati, the capital of Nagaloka, is protected by the Nagas, so was Dwarka protected by the descendants of Vrishni, Bhoja, Madhu, Dasharaha, Araha, Kukura, Andhaka, etc., who were as strong as Lord Krishna. Translation with repetition. As Bhogavati, the capital of Nagaloka, is protected by the Nagas, so was Dwarka protected by the descendants of Vrishni, Bhoja, Madhu, Dasharaha, Araha, Kukura, Andhaka, etc., who were as strong as Lord Krishna. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. The Nagaloka planet is situated below the Earth planet, and it is understood that the sun rays are hampered there. The darkness of the planet is, however, removed by the flashes of the jewels set on the head of the Nagas, celestial serpents, and it is said that there are beautiful gardens, rivulets, etc., for the enjoyment of the Nagas. It is understood here also that the place is well protected by the inhabitants. So also the city of Dwarka was well protected by the descendants of Vrishni, who were as powerful as the Lord, insofar as he manifested his strength upon this earth. Thus ends the Transcendental Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, this chapter is named Lord Krishna's entrance in Dwarka. So, until the previous verse, there was description about how the residents of Dwarka greeted Lord Krishna. And we saw in the previous verse that after Lord Krishna was greeted with so much love and affection, and with various gifts that were given, Lord expresses or appreciates or reciprocates their greetings by his transcendental glances over them. And then he enters the city of Dwarka. So starting this verse, this is an interesting verse in the sense it is 1.11.11. So it's all one. So that is something unique about this verse. But more than that is that the Lord, from here, there is a description about the city of Dwarka that is being described in the next section of verses that are going to come. And in this verse, it is being described that there are different descendants of dynasties like Madhu, Bhoja, Dasharaha, Araha, Kukura, Andhaka, Vrishnibihi. So all these descendants of these various dynasties or various clans, they were protecting Dwarka. And one important thing that is being mentioned here is Atmatulya Balair. So what is being said here is they were as strong as Lord Krishna. And Guptam, they protected the city of Dwarka. Now this is also being compared with the city of Bhogavati, which is the capital of Nagaloka, where the Nagas reside. And it's being said, just like the Nagas protect Bhogavati or Nagaloka, similarly, the various descendants of these dynasties or clans are protecting Dwarka. So, first it is important to note that there is this description of various planetary systems in Srimad Bhagavatam. Especially in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a detailed description about the various planetary systems, and there in the 5th canto, 24th chapter, towards the end, there is description about the lower planetary systems. In fact, the entire chapter is describing the lower planetary systems. So basically, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is described that the entire universe can be considered to or divided into 14 planetary systems, 7 up and 7 below, the middle one being the earthly or the planets where humans reside. So there are upper planetary systems and lower planetary system and the middle planetary system. So there are 7 planetary systems which are below, and there are 7 above. So in this, there is the planets which are below are Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, and Patala. So in another place, Prabhupada mentions that Patala is also referred to as Nagaloka. So there are these different planetary systems, and as Prabhupada mentions, that in each of these different planetary systems, in fact, in each of the different planets, there are life forms, there are living beings. But they are of different kinds. Similarly, there are 7 planetary systems which are above: Bhu, Bhuvar, Swar, Mahar, Janas, Tapas, and Satyaloka. So the upper planetary systems, they also have living beings. The lower planetary systems also have living beings. But there is a difference between all of them. What is the difference? The difference is stated in Bhagavad Gita. What results one to go upper planetary systems? If one is in the mode of goodness. So, urdhvam gachanti sattvastha. So, urdhvam means upwards. So every action that we perform, if it's in the mode of goodness, it takes us upwards or it takes us downwards. So if the action is performed in the mode of goodness, one reaches higher and higher planetary systems. If one is madhya tistanti rajasaha, if one is predominantly in the mode of passion, then one remains in this middle planetary system. Adho gachanti tamasaha. If one is predominantly in the mode of ignorance, then one goes to this lower forms or lower planetary systems, either lower forms of life or lower planetary systems. And nagas, snakes, are considered not so in the mode of goodness or passion, but rather in the mode of ignorance, animals. So we can see that each of these planetary systems, the different living beings that are existing, depends upon the modes of nature, material nature that they have acquired. And therefore, the 14th chapter emphasizes that one has to see that we come to the mode of goodness. And from that state, we transcend even the mode of goodness and go beyond this material planetary systems and reach the spiritual worlds. So unless we do not cross over, we have to remain within this material world in one of these planetary systems. And there is further description about this Nagaloka in the 5th canto, although not much, but in this brief description. It is said that there are many, many different kinds of serpents, and some of them are leaders. And their names are Shanka, Kulika, Mahashanka, Shweta, Dhananjaya, Dhritarashtra, Shankachuda, Kambala, Ashwatara, Devadatta. So So like this, there are various leaders in this Nagaloka. These are all various kinds of serpents. And the chief among them is Vasuki. And it's said that they're always very, very angry. And it is said that unlike the snakes that we see here, which have only one hood, they have many, many hoods. Some have 5, 7, 10, some even have 100 hoods. And the unique thing that Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport is that it is understood that the sun rays are hampered there, so there's no sunlight there. So how will they see? So it is said, the darkness of this planet is, however, removed by the flashes of the jewels set on the head of the Nagas. So each of these snakes with a different number of hoods, they have jewels on top of it. So from that light is coming. So they don't need sun, but they have different ways to light up the planet. And not only that, they also have rivulets, gardens, and so on and so forth. So this material world is made in such a way that every living entity can have their own due kind of enjoyment. Actually, the material nature is so designed, based upon our desire and our activities, we get a specific form of body, a specific kind of facilities to enjoy certain kind of material enjoyment. So even in the lower planetary systems, the Nagas, they also have certain facilities to enjoy. And they are happy in that way. So that is being described here. And it is said that even they protect. So protection is part of existence. So even in this planetary system, these Nagas, they protect the Nagaloka. Now, another very important point which is being mentioned in this verse is Atmatulya Baler. Atmatulya Baler. Now, Prabhupada translates this as good as himself, Baler, by strength. Or in other words, Prabhupada in the translation says, who were as strong as Lord Krishna. Now, we have seen in various places the supremacy of Krishna is established. Aham sarvasya prabho matta sarvam pravartate. From him everything emanates, both spiritual and material worlds. Janma adhyasya yatha. He is the source of all emanations, all creations. Everything that is coming out is from him. He is the original personality of Godhead. So how can something be equal to him? Although the residents of Dwaraka are actually coming from the spiritual world, yet how can someone be as strong as Krishna? Because we also see asama urdhva. Asama means equal, urdhva means greater. There is no one equal or greater than the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna that is mentioned. But here at the same time, it is being mentioned they are as good as the Lord himself. So how is this to be understood? So this can be understood by understanding special quality of the Lord. So in this regard, there is a description in the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the 4th chapter, where Maharaj Parikshit asks about how this cosmic manifestation comes about to Sukadeva Goswami, and Sukadeva Goswami begins to answer. So in that purport, Srila Prabhupada, in one of those purports in the 10th verse, explains about why, the Lord is inconceivable. Parikshit Maharaj knows that the Lord is inconceivable. He has so many potencies, parasya shakti, vividave shruyate, so many different kinds of energies, what he does, how great he is, very difficult to understand, inconceivable. This is one of the characteristics of this Lord one must agree upon to understand the greatness of the Lord. He is inconceivable. But if he is inconceivable, why is Parikshit Maharaj is asking Sukadeva Goswami to answer? And how can Sukadeva Goswami answer this question? So in this regard, it is said that, I'll just read a little bit of purport from the Maharaj Parikshit admitted in the previous verse that the Lord is inconceivable even for the greatest learned scholars. Why then should he again request Sukadeva Goswami to clarify his insufficient knowledge about the Lord? The reason is clear. Not only was Sukadeva Goswami was vastly learned in the Vedic literatures, but he was also a great self-realized soul and a powerful devotee of the Lord. So here, the word which is very important is powerful devotee of the Lord. And then Prabhupada explains, a powerful devotee of the Lord is, by the grace of the Lord, more than the Lord himself. The personality of Godhead Ramachandra attempted to bridge the Indian Ocean to reach the island of Lanka, but Sri Hanumanji, the unalloyed devotee of the personality of Godhead, could cross the ocean simply by jumping over it. So Prabhupada is giving an example that the Lord Ramachandra, he built a bridge to cross over the ocean, whereas his devotee, he could simply jump by chanting the name Lord Rama. So in one sense, it looks like the devotee is more powerful than the Lord. Lord could have also jumped. If the devotee can jump, why not the Lord jump? So here, Prabhupada is explaining that the Lord is so merciful upon his pure devotee that he presents his beloved devotee as more powerful than himself. So it is Lord's kindness, his mercy, that he makes sometimes his devotee appears powerful than him. Not just equal, but more powerful. In some other instances, he makes his devotee more important than himself. And this can be seen in the example of Durvasa Muni and Ambarish Maharaj. Durvasa Muni became very angry with Ambarish Maharaj for breaking the fast and taking something before he could come and he could be fed. So when Durvasa Muni was angry with Ambarish Maharaj and wanted to punish him, and when Ambarish Maharaj took shelter of the Supreme Lord, the Sudarshan Chakra of the Lord was chasing Durvasa Muni. And he is going from place to place to Lord Brahma, to Lord Shiva, and eventually to even Lord Vishnu, to find shelter and make a solution. Please save me. But Lord sends him back to Ambarish Maharaj. He says, if he forgives, only then you can be saved. Although Lord can save, Lord can protect anyone, but he is establishing that no, my devotee is more important. And not only that, he is also saying that that not only is the devotee of the Lord is powerful, but it is more important to worship him. And that's why it is said here that Mad Bhakta Puja Abhyadikaha. It is even greater to worship my devotee than to worship me. Actually, Srila Prabhupada once was visiting someone's house. Maybe I think he's a donor or someone. And then when Prabhupada came to that house, that person was doing some puja inside. And he was not welcoming Prabhupada. And he was busy in the temple, in some temple room or something, and is not welcoming. And Prabhupada later says, actually you should come and receive the devotee of the Lord, that is more important. The Lord is more pleased when his devotees are well received, especially the pure devotee of the Lord. So it is very important. The Lord is more pleased when his devotees are pleased or served. Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado. Because Lord takes less offense if something is done towards him, but he takes great offense if his devotees are not treated well. And therefore, the Lord establishes the importance of worshipping his pure devotees. So this is another very important point to note, that therefore it is emphasized, in the Vedic literatures, one does not approach the Supreme Lord directly, but one approaches through the means, via means of a bona fide spiritual master. So, without the help of a pure devotee of the Lord, one cannot actually make progress in the transcendental science of spiritual realization. So it is always important, must require, just like we recite, Sakshat Haritvena Samasta Shastrer. The spiritual master is to be worshipped as good as the Supreme Lord Hari. So, it is very important that we understand the importance of the pure devotees of the Lord, and by the mercy of the Lord, they can be made as powerful, or sometimes even more powerful, as we see here, and as important, or sometimes even more important than the Lord himself. But Srila Prabhupada again clarifies this very nicely. In another place, towards the end of 2nd canto, in the 9th chapter, 30th verse, Prabhupada further explains that Sri Hanumanji crossed the Indian Ocean by jumping over the sea, and Lord Sri Ramachandra engaged himself in marching over the bridge. But this does not mean that Hanumanji was more powerful than the Lord. Sometimes the Lord gives extraordinary powers to his devotee, but the devotee knows always that the power belongs to the personality of Godhead, and the devotee is only an instrument. The Lord may make his devotees appear powerful, but the devotee knows the power is actually coming from the Lord. This is very important. Sometimes we may think we are able to do some extraordinary things. Sometimes we think, I'm able to distribute so many books. Sometimes I may think, I'm able to cook so well. Sometimes I may think I'm singing so well, I'm preaching so well. One may think that I'm able to do so many different things, but one must recognize that where is this coming from? The power to preach, the power to cook, the ability, where is it coming from? It is coming from the Supreme Lord. Without the ability given by the Lord, without the mercy of the spiritual master, actually we cannot do any service. Therefore, we must acknowledge from where the power is coming. It's easy, if we are not well situated, power can corrupt. We may think we are the most powerful, but as Prabhupada says here, a pure devotee of the Lord knows always that the power belongs to the personality of Godhead and is just an instrument. This is very, very important. And one very vivid example of this is presented in Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very nice incident where actually Arjuna is defeated by the ignoble cowherd men. So here Arjuna says basically, in the absence of Lord Shri Krishna, I have been defeated by a number of infidel cowherd men while I was guarding the bodies of all the wives of Krishna. So how can Arjuna, who is such a great warrior, who fought in the battle of Kurukshetra, could kill so many enemies, now here he is being defeated by ignoble cowherd men? How is that possible? And how could such cowherd men touch the bodies of Krishna's wives? How is that possible? So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that basically these were the daughters of demigods. When they saw this sage called Ashtavakara Muni, who had curves in 8 joints of his body, he was curved. So when he was walking, it was not very neat and clean. So these daughters of the demigods could not check their laughing, and they started to laugh. And then Ashtavakara Muni curses them that they would be kidnapped by rogues, even if they would get the Lord as their husband. So again, they pleased Ashtavakara Muni by asking for forgiveness and doing things. Then Ashtavakara Muni says that they would again get their husband even after being robbed by the rogues. So the Lord himself kidnapped his wives from the protection of Arjuna. Otherwise, they could not have been vanished at once from the scene as soon as they were touched by the rogues. So basically, the Lord himself expands to steal back. And this is an important point. In the very next verse of this, it is said, Tadvai zanusta ishavaha saratho hayaste soham rathi nipatayo yata anmananti sarvam shanena tad abhut asad ishariktam bhasman hutam kuhaka radham ivoptam ushyam. So here Arjuna says, I have the very same Gandiva bow, the same arrows, the same chariot drawn by the same horses, and I use them as the same Arjuna to whom all the kings offered their due respects. But in the absence of Lord Krishna, all of them at a moment's notice have become null and void. It is exactly like offering clarified butter on ashes, accumulating money with a magic wand, or sowing seeds on barren land. So, he's carrying the same bow, the same arrows, chariot drawn by the same horses, and he's the same Arjuna whom all the kings gave so much respect. Now here, he's being defeated. We may have the same things, but if there is something which is missing, then it will not work. The factor of Daiva, the factor of Lord, is very important for anything to become successful. And Prabhupada explains in the purport, as we have discussed more than once, one should not be puffed up by borrowed plumes. All energies and powers are derived from the Supreme Source, Lord Krishna, and they act as long as he desires and cease to function as soon as he withdraws. So some ability the Lord may give, and he can take away that ability. So we cannot be proud. Like today, I may get some ability from somewhere, and I may think, I'm going to continue doing this. No. If the Lord takes away that ability, gone. Just like in the description between Jarabharta and Rahugana, King Rahugana, King Rahugana was being carried in a palanquin, and somehow one of the carriers fell sick or something, and they needed one more carrier. So they look around and they find Jarabharta, and they make him as a carrier, palanquin carrier. So when Jarabharta becomes palanquin carrier, he was not walking in straight line because he was trying to avoid stamping on the ants. And the palanquin is not steady. So King Rahugana becomes very angry, and he starts scolding Jarabharta, saying that you are fat, you are thin, you are this, you are this, you are that. And he is saying so many things. And then in one place, Jarabharta says that, today you are king, tomorrow you may not be a king. You see? Sometimes we think, this is a permanent position. I'm king, so I'm permanent. No one can disturb me from this position. I can do anything and everything. Just like sometimes parents may think, I'm very strong. Tomorrow I may become old and my son may become very strong. And he will say, you did not give me ice cream that day. Today I'll not give you even rise. You see? Someone becomes powerful one day, someone becomes less powerful another day. So actually power is not our power. Power is coming from the Lord. All electrical energies are received from the powerhouse, and as soon as the powerhouse stops supplying energy, the bulbs are of no use. In a moment's time, such energies can be generated or withdrawn by the supreme will of the Lord. This is very important to recognize that without the supreme will of the Lord, without the Lord supplying the energies, we cannot really do anything. And therefore, it is very important that we have to see the hand of the Lord in everything that is happening. Otherwise, we take the center role. Everything we think is moving around us. And this is a big illusion. Oh, because of my presence here, this has happened. Because of me thinking like this happened. So everything we connect the dots in relationship to me. If something is happening, what is the cause? I'll find a way to attach myself to the cause. Oh, Prabhu, I told you to take right turn, that's why we did today book distribution well. Someone already decided you should go to this place, but he said, Prabhu, I told you to take right turn, that's why the book distribution went well. Our mind creates so many stories. Someone thinks, I did the right turn, that's why we went to do nice book distribution. Someone says, I told you to take right turn. Someone says, I took the right turn. And actually the one who distributed the books is someone else. You see. But we can all relate to that one incident called, I am the cause of that. Sometimes direct cause, indirect cause, but we want to become a cause of it. But it is very important to see what is the prime cause of everything. How Lord's presence is guiding everything to happen. How Lord is giving each one of us intelligence, ability to do certain things. And without His will, without Him giving us the ability, we cannot do anything. And therefore, this is God consciousness, to recognize the presence of the Lord, to see the hand of the Lord in everything that is happening, everything that is moving, is very important. Otherwise, we can be blinded by some limited powers that we got. Oh yes, it's because of me. And sometimes we may have power. Sometimes some other time we may lose that power. So that's very, very important. Prabhupada writes, material civilization without the blessing of the Lord is a child's play only. As long as the parents allow the child to play, it is all right. As soon as the parents withdraw, the child has to stop. Similarly, the Lord, if He decides, oh, no more, then we can't do anything. But human civilization and all activities thereof must be dovetailed with the supreme blessing of the Lord, and without this blessing, all advancement of human civilization is like decoration on a dead body. Therefore, it is very important that we try to do so many different things, but it's very important while we are doing all these things and we become Krishna conscious. As it is said, Dharma svanustasya pumsam visvakshena kathasuya notpadya dyati ratim shrama eva hi kevalam. Shrama eva hi kevalam. It is said, it is a useless labor if the outcome of all the activities that we are doing is not leading us to become Krishna conscious. If you are not developing the taste to hear the glories of the Lord. If the taste to hear my own glories increases, it is not a Krishna conscious activity. Yes, there is some amount of services there, but if the focus of attention is, oh, how well did I do this? How well did I preach? See, because of my preaching, everything is moving. Because of my singing, people are dancing. So I'm becoming my conscious, not God conscious, Krishna conscious. So we have to evaluate in what consciousness are we doing various services, various activities. Because God consciousness or Krishna consciousness is real protection. Just like the city of Dwarka is protected by these descendants of various dynasties, the Nagaloka, for us, our protection is to be always conscious of Guru and Krishna and their role in our lives. Then that proud or illusion will not overtake us. So, it is said here that a dead civilization and its activities are something like clarified butter on ashes, the accumulation of money by a magic wand, and the sowing of seeds in a barren land. They do not lead to anything. All things may be there, but the seeds are there, but it's put in barren land. What's the use? Nothing comes out of it. So similarly, if we do not have the presence of the Lord, then all so-called strength, abilities, so-called some skills, anything can just vanish in moments of time. So it is very important that we pay attention that whatever we are receiving, especially in spiritual life, is by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. We should not forget that. And that will keep us grounded, and that will allow us to continue to receive furthermore the blessings of Guru and Krishna. I'll stop here and see if there are any questions or comments. So as I mentioned, Lord can make his devotees, just like in the case of Hanuman, we saw that the Lord empowers. He can give a certain power and make them look like they're very strong. Lord is always powerful, but he can make them look as strong as that, or sometimes even more stronger. Lord is the strongest, but he can make it look like, just like Prabhupada gives an example, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preached in this part of India. My Guru Maharaj preached in beyond India, but I am preaching all over the world. Or Prabhupada says, now does it mean that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preached only in India and Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj preached a little more beyond India and Prabhupada preached? Does it mean that Prabhupada is the strongest in the sense of that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could not do something? No. It is that the Lord can bestow a special blessing, an empowerment, Shakti, to his devotee, and he can make them look as good as himself, sometimes even better than himself. It is Lord's mercy. I want to make my devotee look nicer, greater, more respected than me. I want to look, and then he can make it happen. We'll stop here. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Vishwa Guru Srila Prabhupada ki.